Hi, welcome. I'm sorry I'm doing a impromptu Facebook Live. The baby is sleeping and I'm hoping to share some information with you all today about finding a perfect school. So right now military PCS season is in full swing. And as a military spouse and a teacher, I know that you all are searching for the best school for your babies right now. It could be preschool, it could be high school, it could be whatever grade you're searching for, public, private, whatever. You need to find a great school and you need to find one fast. So you super duper want to find a school. Right now on the blog on milkids.com, I have 3 articles up that specifically talk about how to find a school. So the first one is the Busy Parent's Guide to Finding a School in 3 Easy Steps. The second one is what to do when you can't seem to find a school. And the third one is how to use school ranking sites like a pro. So let's start with how to use school ranking sites like a pro. And I'll post these links in the comments as I'm done. So school ranking sites are like Niche, School Digger, Great Schools. We've all heard of them, right? Niche and School Digger, maybe less so. Great Schools has been around for a very long time, and it's kind of the most popular or most well-known, not necessarily popular. So school ranking sites. So rankings are like grades. What do they mean? And I talked about this in a previous video about what grades mean. And grades, a kid can get an A, and that can mean that they've done well all semester and they've done well from the beginning of the math course to the end of the math course, or it could mean that they've accomplished their goal. So the school websites, the ranking websites take into account standardized test scores, community reviews, demographic data like poverty levels, how many kids are in special education, how many kids are English language learners, racial demographics, ethnic demographics, average income demographics, all sorts of things to rate and rank their schools. And then they compile all that data into one thing and give it a grade. And Niche gives letter grades, the traditional letter grades. School Digger does a 0 to 100 scale, and Great Schools does a 0 to 10 scale. So at Great Schools, you want to look for a 6 or 7 or higher. You kind of want to be in that yellow to green zone. If you're in the red zone, it's not so hot. And then the same for Niche, you really want to be a B+ or higher, or like in the B range or higher. That means they're good schools that are taking into account a lot of different things. And the School Digger sites, you want to, again, be that 65+, which is funny because at Niche, you want to be a B, which is like an 80, and at the other two, you want to be a 6 or a 7, which is like a 60 or a 70 or higher. So very different rating skills, very different considerations. Some things to think about are that the community reviews are not always up to date. So you might be looking at a school today, but the last review is from 2010. That's 7 years ago. Or it could be a review from a past student. It could be a review from 2017 or 2016, but it's from a student that's commenting on their experience in the early 2000s or the late 1990s. That's almost 20 years ago. So, or it could be someone that has a vendetta against a particular teacher, or is being paid or coached to write a positive review. So take the reviews with a grain of salt, take the grades with a grain of salt. So the first step into using them is to find them. So we found them. Niche, School Digger, Great Schools. Then you want to look at them. You want to look at those scores. I just told you what kind of scores you want to be looking at. That 6-7 range, 60 to 70%, or B+ or higher. Then compare the sites. So we just talked about the different kinds of scores they have and how they arrive at that score with the test data and the demographic data and the community reviews. Then you want to compare the scores. So if you want to look at different schools, let's say you're going to go to San Diego, to the San Diego Unified School District, right? You found a school up in, let's say, Mission Hills, okay? You want to look at the school on all 3 websites, and you want to see how the reviews stack up, if they're fairly consistent. You want to see if the scoring is fairly consistent, if across the board they're in the same zone, and you want to see the standardized test scores. You really want to see those test scores. So you want to make sure that the reviews are consistent. A consistently reviewed school that ranks about the same on all 3 websites is going to be a school that is that you can be fairly certain about, right? So then once you have found all that information, you're going to want to go to download the ultimate school comparison worksheet. That is what you want to do. It's free. It's on my website right now. I'm going to drop the link in the comments as soon as I'm done with the live. You're going to want to download this, because what this is going to let you do is you are going to be able to write down all of the information. You're going to be able to compare BAH rates. You're going to be able to compare commuting distance. How far is that school district or that neighborhood from the base where you are going to be stationed, or the community where you're going to be working? How far are you going to have to drive? And you want to look at it as drive time and not as the crow flies. You want to see what they have for sports, for clubs, for extracurriculars. Do they have a foreign language program? Do they have a gifted program? What's their special ed program like? What does their school look like physically? What are rent prices in the area? What are community resources? Do they have good involvement with the community? Are there businesses partnering with the school? Are there civic groups partnering with the school? Girl Scouts, Boy Scouts, Kiwanis, Awanas, like what's going on in the school? What's the PTA like? Do they have an active PTA that welcomes new members and tries to make people feel at home, or do they kind of push them to the side? You want to really, really, really look at these things. And you can compare all of this on the Ultimate School worksheet, and I'm going to be doing a video later this week or this weekend to kind of walk you through how to use the Ultimate School Comparison worksheet. Like I said, it's free right now on the blog. You can download it, print it, and I'm going to be adding an Excel file so you can even have it on your laptop. So be on the lookout for that too. So once you've compared everything, then you need to, sorry, I'm scrolling as I'm doing this, trying to find the information. Once you have the schools compared and you have decided on one or two, then you're going to want to zone in on those neighborhoods. You're going to want to contact a realtor. There are many military spouse realtors out there that can help you find a school if you tell a home if you tell them the school district. Or if you have a home already, then you can contact me and I can help you find a school that will work for you, public or private, and you can PM me for that information. I am so happy to offer this service this summer to help military families find amazing schools in really great districts that either fit their budget for private school or fit their needs for public school or fit their needs for private school. You're going to want to find your home. You're going to want to find it fast because, as we know, homes go really fast in good districts. And good districts sometimes have a little bit pricier homes. Like I used to teach in Falls Church City, Virginia, not Falls Church, Fairfax County, but Falls Church City. Outstanding school district right near Washington, D.C. and the Pentagon and Fort Belvoir. Very expensive homes. I couldn't afford to live there at that time. But if you want a really good school district, then you might have to be prepared to pay a little bit more. So you've compared the school districts, you're looking at, so the next article I'm going to talk about is finding a great school in 3 easy steps. Literally 3 easy steps. So you already did the first step, right? You've narrowed your search down, you know where you want to live. You're stationed at MCAS Miramar, or you're stationed at Fort Benning, or you're stationed at a recruiting station. Maybe you're in Boston, maybe you're in New York. You're at a recruiting station. And I'm sorry if that's not the right terminology. We've never done recruiting. And we're Marine Corps, so we don't really go to anywhere other than camp such and such. So you've already done your research. You've gotten the Ultimate School Comparison worksheet. You've downloaded that. You've printed it. You are going to hopefully have it as an Excel file in the next couple hours. You've narrowed your search down. You've found your location, your ideal neighborhood, your ideal town, your ideal district. You're comparing the schools using your worksheet. And those are really the first and second steps. And then you're comparing. So now what do you do if you can't decide or you can't find a great school? What if you are in the middle of absolutely nowhere and all of the public schools around you have a terrible reputation, or they're all in the orange or red zone on the different websites? They're all, in the C below 60% range. You kind of just don't want to. And then what if the private schools aren't any better? What do you do when you can't seem to find a school? And this is super important for military families to understand, because you have options. you might just have to sacrifice a little bit to get them. So what do you do when you can't find a school? So you have to decide on your must-haves. Does it matter more to you to have your kiddo in an awesome school, or would you rather have a really short commute time? You're gonna have to make that choice. So for example, our friends when we were in DC lived all the way out in Gainesville. That was like an hour-and-a-half commute every single day for that Marine. But the schools out there were awesome. They found a really great Catholic school that they loved, that fed into a really good public school system. They never got to see their Marine though. And they had to make that decision. Whereas even though we didn't have a school-age daughter at the time, we lived in Arlington, which was a mile and a half door to door. I could run it in 15 minutes. It was great. Also a good school system, but we made that decision. Another thing to consider might be how much house you want. Some people want a big house and a big yard. For us in DC, we got a teeny tiny little house. We didn't have a yard, and we only had one parking space. So we made the decision to live closer to work, still in a good school district, but not much house. So you kind of have to figure out what is the most important thing for you at that time. And I hope it's schools, because schools are so important. So you might have to sacrifice on commute time, or you might have to sacrifice on house, or you might have to sacrifice on both. Something to consider. Sorry. So the other thing to consider is when you're thinking about a school is what are your must-haves in the school? Is your kid big into sports? Do they need to play soccer? Do they need to play football? Are they into the arts? Do they need a robust arts program? Are they looking to go to college on a music scholarship, especially for the older kids in middle school and high school? These are the things that are going to get them into really good colleges and really good programs. So you really need to make sure that you're honing in on the things that they are good at and the things that they like. So if your kid is into sports, you want a school with the sport they play. Arts, you want band, music, photography, visual arts, performing arts. You want to make sure that that's good. If you are a multilingual family and maybe you speak Spanish at home or Portuguese or Arabic or whatever, does the school you're going to have a program that will support your children as they learn and develop as English speakers? If you have a child with an IEP or a 504 plan, what are the services that the school is providing? Special speech language, physical therapy, occupational therapy, and are they the same as the place where you left? The one thing you don't want to do when you are in special ed is downgrade your services. So if your child is currently needing and getting, say, speech 3 times a week for 30 minutes each time, you don't want to go to a school that you're only going to get one 30-minute session of speech a week, unless your child, has made enough progress. But you don't want to downgrade until it's necessary. So you really need to consider that. For gifted programs, you want to make sure the school has a robust gifted program that is not just workbooks. Technology is where we're at. I'm doing technology right now. I have 2 technology things in front of me. I have my phone, which I'm broadcasting on, and I have my computer so that I can pull up information so that everyone can see it. As a teacher, I use tech all day long. I use Smartboard. I use computers where all my kids are on Google Drive. I use Twitter to share my things. I use a digital newsletter. I have MilKids Ed is Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Pinterest, all of it, and a website. We are on digital platforms all of the time. If your child's school is not tech savvy and is not prepared to teach your child how to be tech savvy, that's going to be an issue farther down the road, especially as you move into middle school and high school, or if you're going to be moving from elementary school to middle school to high school at 3 different duty stations, which is likely. You're going to want to get that foundation in there early. And you need to find out the funding. You don't want to send your child to a school that is underfunded or poorly funded. Because they won't have the resources to do those extras, to do a robust arts program, or have a good sports program, or have technology, or a really good gifted education program. And even though special education has a lot of federal funding, a lot of funding still comes locally. And so you want a school that is well funded. Look at that per capita, per pupil spending, look at the total budget, look at the class size, look at all of that. And I will be doing more Facebook Lives on this as we get closer to the school final decision thing. Because I know it's a lot to consider, and it's a lot for one video. And you're going to want to look online, you're going to want to look at everything. So, main takeaways here. of how to find a school fast and easy. 1, download the Ultimate School Comparison Worksheet. It is free. It is for military families. It is designed just for you. I'm so excited about it. I've had a bunch of friends look at it and tell me that it really, really, really helped them narrow down their decisions, or narrow it down to the point where they could reach out to me and say, hey Meg, I'm considering school A and school B. What are your thoughts as a professional educator? These are all the things that I've considered. This is how they stack up. Where should I send my kid? Second thing, get on those school ranking websites, but take them with a big grain of salt, like a giant grain of salt, maybe even a spoonful of salt. They're not going to show you the whole picture. Number 3, prioritize is what is most important to you as you PCS: school, house, commute, and then what specifically about the school is most important. That's going to help you narrow down A, where you live, and B, where you send your children to school, and C, if you're going to go public, private, or homeschool. And if you really cannot find a school, or this is all just overwhelming, because I know it is. As a teacher, every time we move, I weigh the decision: do I go back to work? Is there a good school district around me that I want to teach in, that I am passionate about teaching in? Or is this just not a good time for me to go back to school professionally, because I don't necessarily want to be affiliated with this particular district or this particular region on my resume? And so if you are having trouble finding a school, which is so common, please, please, please PM me. Reach out. I am offering a school search service this summer, but I only have 12 spots and they are going super duper fast. So please reach out to me as soon as possible so that you can get yourself a spot and I can start finding a perfect school for your children. You're gonna want to do this. It takes something off of your plate, something you don't have to consider about during your PCS. I will be doing all of the work. All you have to do is tell me BH, where you're headed, and what you want. And then I look. And then I give you a list. And then I help you connect with the principals. I help you. I will follow up with you. I will make sure you're getting all settled. I will help you with enrollment checklists. I will help you with the start to finish, find the school you're enrolled process. And it's a super reasonable rate. It's almost $100 value, and I'm discounting it for military families this summer to $49. So that's almost a 50% discount of this service. So you're gonna want that. So please PM me, download the Ultimate School Comparison Worksheet, and please in the comments let me know, what are you most concerned about finding a school this summer, and how can I help you? I'll be dropping links to the School Comparison Worksheet, to the information page about the School Seeker service, and to all 3 of the blog posts I talked about today in the comments. So please, please, please check those out. And good luck school searching. I'm here for you if you need me. Best of luck. See you later.